Hello, class. So we're talking about 7.9, the Great Depression. Okay, this period of time, now remember, we're moving from 1920s, we're moving from still transitioning from rather, a rural agrarian or agriculture-based economy into an urban, city-centered, more industrial-based economy throughout this period, primarily led by large corporations. This is the age of Ford and Sears. Um, Episodes of credit instability, market instability that are happening during this time period. Banks are legally allowed to not only handle personal checking, but they're also allowed to make these investments that are going to get curtailed later. That led to bank collapses and other issues in the markets that created these credit and lending instabilities, which led directly into the Great Depression. Um, let's take a look at a photograph. This is a photograph of unemployed men standing outside a soup kitchen in Depression era Chicago, Illinois, 1931. This happened like within just a couple of years of you had the stock market collapse, which was just think of the stock market collapse as a symptom of an underlying disease. These credit and market instabilities that were occurring overseas, coming to the United States, bubbling under the surface, in turn, uh, companies losing uh, foothold in the market, laying off people, creating these breadlines. Job losses were widespread. This is a famous photograph from this period by the photographer Dorothea Lange. Photograph entitled "Migrant Mother" depicts a who this is Florence Owen Thompson, who was a pea picker in California, which was almost like a subsistence job. In other words, you made just enough money to survive barely. She's age 32 in this photograph, mother of seven children. Take this photograph was taken in 1936. Upside to this story, she, after World War II, roughly, she went on to have a fairly normal life and lived, if I'm not mistaken, well into her 80s and died, if I believe it was like 1982 when she passed away. Now, in the 1930s, we also saw a whole range of reforms by government, by Congress. And FDR, of course, signed in a whole host of legislation that would lead to what became essentially a limited form of a welfare state to get people out of the situations that migrant mother and the breadlines and situations like that you saw to help people get out of those very, very dangling on starvation conditions, essentially. And this is a photograph of President Roosevelt signing the Social Security Act into law in 1935. Now, when we get to 7.10, the New Deal, we're going to talk about a lot more about FDR's policies that he signed into law to help the economy, help the public get past this hardship of the Great Depression.